So we're going to start this project off with this base model that I have, and this base model you can pull into 123 Design, or you can pull it into Fusion 360. And what's cool about it is it's going to print without support the way it is right now. So it's a great base to start your model with. Then I'm just going to go to Sketch, and I'm going to click on Text. Automatically brings me into sketch mode. I click on the surface, obviously I want to sketch on, and it's ready to go. And actually, before I do my text, I'm going to do some lines just to help me line stuff up. Do one line across the middle, and as you can see, it snaps to the middle, and one line down the middle. And this will just help me a little bit line things up as I go in and I put my text in here. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is just type my text. Tony D. Alright, then I'm going to go grab a cool font. And what's cool about Fusion 360 is it actually pulls the fonts off your computer, so you can get all sorts of crazy fonts. And Jack's candlestick looks pretty cool, so let's make this really big. Let's go 40. Alright, and the easiest way to line it up is just like I said. Go off your middle lines, and you can also count since we have the grid on here. So one more time. And these are little quirks of the software you learn, so don't get frustrated. Next thing I'm going to do, and what's cool is you can always go back and edit this. So I'm going to grab my text tool again, and this time I'm going to do Commando Designs. Alright, grab another cool font. Probably, let's go Big Maca, that's one of my favorites. Oh, I don't know. Let's say Deck Ranger. I think it's pretty cool too. It's a little bit more mellow. BCD. Deck Ranger. Okay. Cool. Let's go 15. Make it just a little bit bigger. Alright. And then I, once again, am simply just going to line it up. Alright, looks good. And I'm not going to click off of it this time. I'm going to click OK. And now all my text is good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull in vectors, and this is what makes Fusion 360 so awesome. And this function actually works in 123D Design too. And you can imagine how cool and how many different things you could do. So you go into Insert, and you go Insert SVG, which means Scalable Vectors Graphics. Scalable Vector Graphic. And you can make Scalable Vector Graphics in basically any graphics program, like Illustrator or Corel Draw. And just export it as a Scalable Vector Graphic, which is a very generic form. Now you want your shapes to be very simple. So you don't want them to be complex. If you make them complex, it's just a whole nother ball game. So you want it very simple. So this first one is just a YouTube button, and sometimes it pulls them in kind of weird, and scale is all off and stuff. But you can just fool around with it and get it to where you want. I want this a little bit smaller, and I'm just going to pull it in right there, and that is good. So now I have this cool vector graphic that I could pull just like any other 3D geometry. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in my logo, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I go into Insert, Scalable Vector Graphic, find it, it's right here. Same thing, scale gets really weird, but just mess with it and scale it up and down until you get it to where you want it. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Alright, and then hit OK. Okay, so now I've got these designs on a flat plane, and I can pull them out and add to the model itself. So I'm going to go in and do these one by one. Just understand I'm going to have to, one of the automatic functions in Fusion 360 is once you pull something, it'll make the sketch disappear because it thinks you're done. So I just have to make this sketch reappear in a second. I totally recommend when you pull stuff for a project like this, especially nameplates, I found that 5mm works really good. And you'll see why a little bit later. It has to do with when you go to paint this. It raised up about 5mm is perfect. It makes it really, really easy to paint. So I hit OK, and boom. So my sketch disappeared. So all I have to do is go grab it again, turn it on, and I'm going to do the same thing with this. Pull, and I can actually just type in 5 or hit 5 and enter, which is pretty cool. Alright, and then I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to pull this portion of my skull and the outside portion. This is what's cool. When you have a generic design like this, you can pull different sections for different things. If I want to make this a relief, like you see on a lot of my models, I grab the outlines and I push them back. But for this one, I want to pull them up. Hit 5, enter, and we're good. Last but not least, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to pull the Commando Designs. 5, enter, and we're good. So let's see what it looks like. Turn off my sketch, and you can see now that once you pull it out, it looks really cool. So all there is left to do right now is to go ahead and make my design. So in Fusion, it's really easy. You go to make, grab one body, and I know dudes get really upset with me when, because somebody in my last video noticed. In Fusion, the right way to do things is to pull bodies and turn them into components. But when I have just one thing and I'm just moving fast, I usually leave it as a body. But pros will tell you shouldn't really do that. Alright, but it doesn't matter for this project. Okay, so I'm going to pull it into Mesh Mixer. Now I just have to make sure it sits on the bed correctly. So I need to turn this sideways at 90 degrees because it just imports it different angles and weirdness happen. Pretty normal. Move to platform. See, it's still a little bit far back. I'm going to move it forward into the middle at least. Alright, and as you can see, this is going to be a big model, so it's going to really kind of push my printer to the brink here, but I think we're good. Alright, send to printer. It's going to tell me it's too big. Don't scale because it's actually off by a little bit, and it actually does fit. Found that out. Okay, now for a model like this, I don't want to just send it straight to my printer, so I'm going to export it to an SD card, and then from there I'm going to put it on my printer. So for this model, I want to make sure that in my settings, this thing is not going to be too difficult to print, so, or it's going to take up way too much plastic or take way too long. So what I'm going to do is I want it to stay standard. That's fine. 20% is way too high for something like this. It probably only needs to be probably 10 is fine, and it doesn't need to be real strong, so I'll just do 2, and that'll help it print. So that's my settings, and then I'm going to export it. And all the different slicers, this is just MakerBots, are very similar, so the settings are almost identical. Alright, so this is going to take a second to export. So all these programs are very similar, these slicers, and when I tried to export, I realized it's going to take 14 hours to print this. So let's tweak it a little bit. So all I have to do, and just like I said, very similar on each different program, I tweak this thing down about 50% because I don't really need it to be that big. And it'll still look plenty cool. And it'll take a whole lot less time. Yeah, so you can see it's slicing 1,000 times faster, so sometimes you don't want these things to be way too big because it will take too long. And you run the risk of it breaking in the middle, and you wasted half the spool. came out pretty good, but what we did get is a little bit of stringiness in between the letters. And this is easiest to see kind of up close with some light. But you get a little bit of stringiness between the letters, and this is pretty normal. I would be a little bit worried if I saw this much stringiness on a model, but what's cool about it, I can look at the back and see it's pretty consistent. So it was a pretty good print. So I know it's strong in there. Sometimes you'll get stringiness and then you'll get little gaps, and that's when it wasn't feeding correctly. And if I saw that, I would know my model was probably garbage and it's getting ready to fall apart. But since the back is solid, I know that the front is solid, which is good because I'll show you how to get rid of the stringiness really quick. The way I do this is I use a wire brush. And when you go across your model, if you're worried about it starting to scuff your model, because remember the lines are going this way because it printed this way, then you need to stay going with the grain or the print direction. But I'm not too worried about that because I'm going to paint over it anyway. So I'm just going to get between the letters and it'll take this stringiness right out. So as I went in here and I started cleaning up my design with my razor blade, I realized there's a little bit more stringiness than I really like to deal with. And I do know what it is because I used a different filament just a little while ago on my printer and I had no problems. So it's the filament, but it might not be for the reason you think. I guarantee you I know why this is getting a little stringy and a little weird on me. It's because the roll is wound so tight. So sometimes, you know, you kind of roll the dice with 3D printing, and that would be this is a good example of one time that the roll was just so tight that it had a little bit of problem feeding, and you can see there's a little bit of evidence in the back as you look real close, because you can see it's a little inconsistent. And if it gets much worse than this, your model will be very brittle, but I can feel it's nice and strong. So it wasn't too bad, but it's definitely annoying. And it causes that stringiness in your intricate part of your designs that I had to go in and basically clean up with my razor blade. So, could it have come out a little bit better? Yes, especially because of the print. Got a little stringy on me. But that was kind of my fault, not making sure my filament was ready to go because it was a little tight on the spool, so it didn't feed perfectly and it gave us a little bit of stringiness. But we cleaned it up, and I just wanted to show you concept-wise how easy this is to make cool custom stuff. Custom is the key here because anybody can make cheap stuff, but not everybody can make custom stuff. And I'm telling you, those trophy dudes and the engravers out there are going crazy right now because they're like, oh man, I gotta catch up, because this is how easy it is to make really cool plaques, nameplates, and other custom stuff using your home 3D printer. And I'm not talking an expensive 3D printer either. Just even, you know, the most basic 3D printer can knock out a three-dimensional figure like this. So this is a great project to take your skills to the next level. And of course, I'm going to provide you with the blank for this model so you can go back and make your own nameplate. And that's a great place to start to learn how to really make custom stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you've got any questions, you know where to check us out. CommandoDesigns.com. I'm Tony D.